So that's why we stay in foundational model. We use the free and the very low cost approaches to generate immediate cash for us. The first thing we have to do, and this is something I really spend a lot of time with my inner circle members on this. The first thing you have to do, I can't think of a better way to describe this than to turn up your financial thermostat. There's a good chance, depending on how old you were when you got licensed. I was 20 or 21 when I got my real estate license. I came from the racehorse industry where I was a groom. I think I was making $500 a week. And then they said, you can make $5,000 when you sell a house. And I have never seen that much money in my entire life. I have never seen $5,000. I have no idea what I would stay up all night and look at it because where I was, that raised my financial thermostat. Does that make sense? So that was considered a lot of money to me. Well, I start selling real estate. Homes were only about 160,000 back then. So I start selling real estate. I'm getting $5,000 commissions, and that's awesome. And then we've got a top producer in our office that sells luxury real estate. And I saw her commission check one time laying on her desk there, and she got $21,000. And I thought, holy shit. I have never seen that much money. I'm hoping to get 2 closings and I make 10 grand, and that's enough for me to, maybe pay my bills for the month. I have never seen one check for $21,000. And then I say, you know what? I want to start doing that. I want to start getting into the luxury side. What I've done is I've turned up my financial thermostat. There was a time that I didn't have $5 to buy something at the local convenience store, right? So as I keep raising this, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that becomes the norm. I know you've all been through that yourself from, when you were younger or you were working a regular, hourly job or something like that. You're on this much money, but then you've got this big number that comes in and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the most I've ever seen. So when you start hanging out with people that naturally raise your financial thermostat, that's where that term comes in. You will be the sum of your 5 closest friends' income. If you have 5 friends, you'll find that all of them are pretty damn close on income, but you'll be about the average of all 5. If you've got one that's extra low, that's going to bring the group down a little bit. If you've got one that's crazy good, that brings the group up a little bit because of the style of conversation, the things that we talk about. So I'll give you an example. This calendar week, I have spent over $1 million cash on young racehorses, on 1-year-old racehorses. That seems like literally wrote a check. Now, 3 weeks ago, I bought a farm in Kentucky. I have over $2 million in cash in that. I wired it to the freaking closing company. Now that seems like a huge number, unattainable. That's so far beyond, Greg. You don't understand my situation. I have been in the position, many of you know the story, where I had to share a frozen burrito from the dollar store with my wife back when I was married. We had to share a frozen burrito from the dollar store. I've been there. But as you raise your financial thermostat, as you crank it up, it starts to become the norm for you. That's why when I tell you you can make $500,000 a year in real estate sales, you may not believe that because your thermostat says, nope, I got to cut off. Nope, I've made it to 80,000. I'm willing to turn it up to 100,000, but after that, thermostat cuts off. No more heat. No more heat's going to be put into this thing because we heated it up to 100,000 a year, and that's the most we can handle. We got to crank it up to 150. We got to crank it up to 200,000. And then if you do that, that becomes your new norm. You're never going to let yourself go less than that because now you identify as a 200,000 a year earner. As a matter of fact, you'll start to feel like a failure if you know you've done better in other years and now you're not doing that. That means you know you can do more, but you're not utilizing the right system or you're not applying yourself the right way in order to make that happen. So you really need to think about that financial thermostat that you have right now and cranking that thing up so it'll start blowing the heat. It'll start blowing the money. It'll start putting it out into your business as much as possible. so you can get to that level you're looking for. So the financial thermostat is absolutely everything. And for so many agents, the first thing I have to do is just reprogram what they deem as success. Because listen, that's a gross. If you gross 200,000 in a year, you ain't made shit. You've made nearly nothing. That's a gross number. It really is a gross number, but like that's gross. That's not net. I think we can all agree we got a whole lot of expenses in this business. Gross doesn't mean anything. Your net proceeds matter. General Motors, several years ago, General Motors brought in over $3 billion in sales and lost money. They made less than $0. They lost money. So their profit was less than $1. So your gross number doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is your net. So what we have to do is, first of all, get that financial thermostat turned up as much as we possibly can. I had no idea what big money was. You know what my goal is? To raise your financial thermostat. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, you start thinking, I got to turn the heat on. I got to make this happen because now I know I can get to this point. So the way I made that happen for myself was I surrounded myself with better people. I got involved with mastermind groups, went to meetings, started associating with mentors that could help me. I got involved with coaching programs that could help me along the way because I wanted to be around winners, not around losers. I'm telling you now, if you hang out with people that are starving to death and are stealing shit, you are naturally going to start stealing shit. If you hang out with people that are doing extremely well and they've got an awesome system and they're making great money and they're helping lots of people in your community, you're going to do the same. But you have to really raise that financial thermostat to do so. So when it comes to your financial goal, it's to sell tons of real estate to get lots of money. Then you can invest. Don't invest a little bit of money. If you've got a little bit of money to invest it back in your business because you can get 10 to 1. No stock in the world will get you 10 to 1. So you have to make sure that you're investing in your business, in your own personal real estate business to build wealth. And then you invest in other things to get wealthier, not to build wealth, but to get wealthier. People never taught me that stuff. You read too many headlines, you watch too much of the crap out there. So I want you to, until you're closing a minimum 3 transactions every month. That means some months, a lot of months, maybe half of the months you do more than that, but your minimum is 3. That means there's not one month of the year you have 2. Your minimum is 3 every month. I would call that 40 to 50 closings a year because the worst month you'll ever have is 3. Sometimes you have 4 or 5. But if you are not at 3 a month, stop with all the other crap you're trying to do and get into another business and maybe this little side hustle. And I know a friend that says I can do this. And look, he had good results with it. Why don't I do it? I got 30,000 people that have had good results with this. Why don't you do this? Because the grass is greener. You realize that you're not doing what you're supposed to do here. So you think by switching it up, you're going to do something different. If you have a treadmill and you're not using it, you better not buy a freaking Nordic track. Stop it. The problem is not the machine. You have a machine. It's called a real estate license. You have to use it properly. You have to exercise it correctly in order to make the kind of money that you need to make. One of the first things you need to do is make sure you're using a multimedia approach. That means when you get a lead, when you get a prospect, I don't care if it's from an open house, if it's from Facebook ads, if it's from Craigslist, if it's a referral, if it's you bought a lead from Zillow, Realtor.com, whatever. Show me what you're texting everybody. Show me what you're emailing everybody. Show me the newsletter that you're sending them every month with the call to actions that you have in that newsletter. Show me what the direct mail campaign looks like. Show me how you're using custom audience in Facebook. So every time they scroll through their Facebook, they're seeing your offers. Show me that stuff. If you don't have that stuff, it's not the leads that's the problem. It's the salesperson. That's what needs to be fixed. It's very easy to fix. I didn't say shit about technology. Don't let yourself off the hook here. This is about you making money. I didn't say anything about texting. You've never texted. Email. You've never emailed. Newsletter. You can't print a newsletter. Send a postcard. You can't send a postcard. It's a very, very simple approach. I don't care if you use 3 of the 6 or 7 that I just talked about there. It's a very simple approach. For a lot of the agents that get started with us, even if they're struggling with debt right now or whatever, when they get involved in inner circle coaching, I tell them, don't look at all of this stuff. Greg Luther has way too much stuff. And you know what your problem is? You keep trying to learn, and that's called overwhelm. You feel overwhelmed. Overwhelm is a symptom of a bigger problem, which is a lack of clear instruction and direction. So you've got too many options. When I have agents join up with me, I teach them foundational model is the only button I want you to click until you can get to 2 or possibly 3 closings a month. When you get in foundational model, I show you exactly what to do. Here's what you do. Here's how you use free marketing to generate that business. That becomes the seed money that allows you to do the things you wanted to do but didn't have the cash to do it. You know how we'll get you the cash to do it? We'll get some closings. We'll get some closings for free, and then you have the cash that you need to really build your business correctly. So that's why we stay in foundational model. We use the free and the very low cost approaches to generate immediate cash for us. So what happens then is you stop learning, start earning. You got to learn first and then drop the L, right? Stop learning, start earning. That's what that foundational model does. But I want to be clear with you about something, and please write this down. You got to internalize this. I've worked with a lot of agents here. You will not increase your income if you do not increase your expenses.
Hey, it's Greg Luther, and listen, if you don't follow this channel, there's a good chance you're never going to see me again. I consistently put out regular content, and it's extremely helpful for real estate agents to grow their business. I want to keep you up to date on what's working so that you're in the know and you can take action accordingly. So be sure that you like and comment here, but most importantly, make sure you follow, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on anything. I'm here to help you in growing your business, and I'd love to do so. Follow right now.